You can find out where there are leaks and holes in your life by the thoughts that are spinning in your head and by the words that are coming out of your mouth. Let me say it again. You can really gauge where you are spiritually. And I'm not saying that this is every day, but we have our moments where we can leak, right? We have our moments where we can spin. And you're not less spiritual. You're not less of a child of God. You're not less of a son or daughter of God. If you have your moments, if you have your days, if you look in the Bible, everybody had their moments. Everybody had their days. The thing is, when you have your moment, how do you recover? When you have your moment, how do you push forward? When you have a moment, how do you grow? Do you get in status quo or do you grow? Think about it. Do you get stuck in status quo or do you grow forward? You can actually grow forward. You can not lose in life, but learn in life. There's a big difference. If you can look at losses as lessons versus losses, you're never going to lose because you're always going to be in a continual space of growth. But in order to do this, you have to have the right mindset. And that's why getting on a call like this, listening to a podcast like this is essential. This is why getting up in the morning for yourself, getting in the word, listening to some worship, making some declarations out of your own mouth, making some affirmations and speaking well of yourself and speaking well of your destiny and speaking well of your future and speaking well of your family and speaking well of your life and speaking well of your finances, even if you don't see it right now. God didn't tell us to mirror what we see and say that. What he said is call things that are not. That's what the word says. Call things that are not as though they were. And there's always going to be the temptation to say what we see, right? There's always going to be the temptation to get our mouth in agreement with our situation. God does not want you getting your mouth in agreement with your situation. God wants you to get in agreement with revelation. What kind of revelation? If you want to grow in faith, then you've got to make faith deposits regularly, every day. First thing in the morning, right? It's got to be a part. It's a part of discipline. See, being a disciple of God or a disciple of Christ, it means to be disciplined like Christ. It doesn't mean I'm religious. It doesn't mean I can't have fun. It doesn't mean that I've got to dress a certain way, look a certain way, talk a certain way, learn Christianese. That's not what Jesus is talking about right here, right? Becoming a disciple is following in the ways of God, having the attitude of God, right? Having the mindset of God. And the cool thing about this is when you start to get in the word, especially in the morning, come on, you're setting yourself up for a faith day, right? You're setting yourself up for a faith-filled day. So listen, I encourage you, and you'll hear me again and again and again, talk about this, getting your day started the right way in the word. Because I'll tell you what, if I let a day slip, I can feel it, right? If I let 2 or 3 or 4 days or 5 days slip, I can feel it. When I've not been in a spiritual space and place, I begin to feel it. I begin to hear it. I begin to sense it. My vocabulary begins to shift. But when you stay in a consistent space and place of faith where you are fueling your mind every day, come on, even if your devotion is not perfect. I'm not talking about you have to have a perfect devotion time every day. Everything's got to be just so, on point. Faith is not just something I do in church. Faith is how I live my life. It's a lifestyle, right? And the cool thing about a faith lifestyle is no matter what you're facing in life, there's always going to be an answer. There's always going to be a solution. There's always going to be a door. God always makes it, even if it's not your way and the way we intended, but God always makes a way where there seems to be no way.